peeps? Welcome back to my channel. This is Sade of shardenodyzoff. I missed you guys. I know I didn't post anything last week. Funny thing is, I did film a vlog of portions of my trip to Orlando, but you know, I didn't feel like it was necessarily entertainment worthy or anything for me to really post, as well as the fact that I was home caretaking for my grandma because she's been sick. So I just kind of decided not to post because I was having a hard time personally during all of that, and it was just a lot last weekend. But I am here today to talk to you about using discount sites to travel, right? And I've had a lot of questions come up for me personally about how I feel about using websites like Living Social and Groupon to travel, because I've done it multiple times in the last few years actually, and I am here for it ultimately. So I wanted to do a little quick chat about what that's like. So let's get started. All right, now if you've ever looked at, and I'm just going to use Groupon because I've used that the most. You look at Groupon, there is a section that says getaways, and you find these sometimes seriously discounted trips, both in the US and abroad. And you know, sometimes they can look a little too good to be true. Let's be honest. If you see something, especially because they show how much you're saving and they tell you like how many percent you're saving off of your trip, it can look like it is, you know, a scam or too good to be true, or the hotel's gonna suck or whatever. It can be a little nerve-wracking or produce a little anxiety if you're thinking about doing this. But let me tell you, you can find some really good trips via this method. I went to Haiti in April. Me and Andy went to Haiti for our birthday last year, and me and the man went to Costa Rica in November. And I've also used it to get a hotel in New Orleans. All three times, overall, I was pleased to blown away with the experience. And each of these, they were very different, except for the abroad ones. They were all inclusive, because for me, going abroad and getting an all-inclusive just makes sense in a lot of ways. But when we were in Haiti, we stayed at the Royal de Cameron, which is about an hour outside of Port-au-Prince, and it was fantastic. I booked that one on a whim in January of last year. I saw it come up and I was like, oh God, this is it. I think this is it. I want to do it. And I text Andy first and I was like, is you is or is you ain't, basically. And she was like, yeah, book it. Book that ish. So we did that for our birthday, and we were both like, okay, hopefully this will be good. We looked at the website, which I always suggest that you do when you're looking at these resorts and things like that. Anywhere outside of Groupon or whatever, you're just looking for something and something pops up and you see it, go check the website, and also check things like TripAdvisor to see what the reviews are, so you can get a better look at the pictures that they're using, especially if they have virtual tours of the rooms and things like that. So we did that. Both of us got on our Googles and looked up the hotel, all of that, extra expenses, etc., etc. And so I booked it. I paid $400 for 4 days, 3 nights, and split it in half with Andy. And so we paid $200 a piece to go abroad. And the hotel was fantastic. Now, I will say that this did not include our airport transfer, so we paid $75 a piece for the round trip airport transfer, which, because it was so far away and it took so long to get there, I did not mind paying. It was fine, and safe, didn't have to worry about it, and well worth the money that we spent. The hotel itself was phenomenal. It was beachside. We were there at a point where there were not a whole lot of people there. We got there, I think we did a Thursday to Saturday, which is kind of my ish when it comes to traveling, if I'm doing like a long weekend or something. So we got there right before the crowd started getting in, and it was quiet. It was beautiful. The food was delicious. The staff was fantastic. The rooms were super cute. All of that you can see on the vlog that I did, which I'll link probably somewhere in this area right here. And you can go back and look at that so you can see everything that we did and saw and had. We had a phenomenal time. Same thing when the man and I went to Costa Rica in November. Again, saw the Groupon. It was about $435 for 2 people, all inclusive. And it was a nice, it was supposed to be a garden view room. And so I booked it. So it ended up being the equivalent of about a little over $200 per person a piece. Again, we did have to pay for airport transfer, which is a convenience, although we did have some issues with the company that goes through the hotel for airport transfers, not with the drivers. The drivers were amazing. They were such nice guys. But the money was not communicated well. So I was told $60 round trip for up to 6 people. It ended up being $60 per way for up to 6 people. Still only $60 a person round trip when you break it down, but you know, that miscommunication kind of threw me off. At any rate, the hotel itself, it was Casa Conde in Guanacaste, and it was maybe about 30-45 minutes outside of Liberia, Costa Rica, which is where we flew into from Houston, and that was a cheap flight. It was like maybe $200-300 flight from here, straight through, no stops, perfection. So the hotel itself, if you look back at the vlog for that, which I'll also link right about there, you can see that it was small, it was very quiet, it was off the beaten path, it was gorgeous. Beachside, in between some other bigger resorts. But the room we were in was clutch. It was clutch, and I'm glad we got that room because it ended up being, it was garden view, and sometimes people want the ocean view or whatever, but this garden view room was a bungalow, so we weren't attached to anybody. We had a whole little house situation to ourselves, and it was super duper cute. And the food was fantastic. Staff was so nice. It was clean. There was always, you know, cocktails overflowing, especially the mint one, which was the welcome cocktail, very good. And everybody was just very, very kind. It was great hospitality. So if you're thinking about doing a Groupon or a Living Social coupon situation for a trip, I would say do it. Definitely do it. It's a good way to save money and still be able to travel abroad and go somewhere fun. But you want to keep in mind that with these, unlike if you go through a travel agent, you have to have the money up front. So that could be a little bit of a problem if you don't have the money up front. But if you've been saving and putting away, say, hey, I want to go on a trip, cool. The other thing is you get the time frame that the Groupon or whatever is running. You can keep an eye on things because there's always trips. So even if that one ends, if you check back in a month or in a couple of weeks, there'll still be another trip. So I would say my personal opinion is that Groupon, Living Social type websites that offer discounted events, trips, getaways, all that, it's pretty clutch. I would suggest doing it. Make sure you do your research. That is my #1 tip for that. But other than that, go for it. Yeah, do it. Just do it. Book it. Book that ish and have fun. Now, as always, fam, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend about the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.